Hello, I'm Zim. This is my channel where I talk about things because I can, and today I want to talk about a very strange game I found out about recently. This video is probably going to have a bit of a lengthy intro just because I'm not 100% sure how to go about this, but I just thought it was far too interesting to pass up, so here we are. The game in question can be played in your web browser and is called It Is As If You Were Making Love. It's very short, simple, and most importantly, probably satirical. It's asking, could you imagine if humanity got so lonely and dependent on technology that they'd be intimate with their computer instead? Wouldn't that be ridiculous? The thing is, from what I can gather, it's unfortunately not as far-fetched of a concept as it seems, especially nowadays. I'd like to preface that my main intention with this video is to point out the irony of how this game is being portrayed on social media, as well as how it ties into wider issues like AI psychosis and chatbot relationships. Plus, I'd like to bring attention to the rest of the creator's works because he has many others. I'm not trying to shame or criticize any enjoyment of this game, because that element in of itself is pretty harmless. Quick disclaimer, if it wasn't obvious already, this game has mature subject matter, but there is nothing explicit or gratuitous included. It intentionally uses cold robotic language and mechanics for the sake of juxtaposition. All in all, this video is suggestive at worst. Like, yeah, this is a freaky fucking game, but don't take it too seriously, it's no worse than my videos about horror movies, for example. This is also just my thoughts and interpretations about the game and how people are talking about it. I'm not trying to say that I'm correct or anything, don't take it to heart too much, I'm just some guy. And with all that being said, let's talk about It Is As If You Were Making Love. It Is As If You Were Making Love is a game that was made in 2018 by Pippin Barr, a writer and game maker who, according to his website, has made 95 games since 2011. The description of the game reads as follows. Physical intimacy is a thing of the past. Finally. But wait, why do you feel so alone? You want to touch someone? Make them feel good? But you don't really want to actually have to touch someone, you don't really want to deal with another human. Well, you're in luck. With this new application, It Is As If You Were Making Love. It Is As If is actually a whole series of games, as well as the name of an 8-booklet set based on Pippin's journals of these games. The booklet series was published in collaboration with Devolution in 2025, with these titles on screen. Do we see a theme here? It's all things you could actually be doing. Two of these games I've played and will be talking about in this video are It Is As If You Were Making Love and It Is As If You Were Playing a Text Adventure, but I'd also like to show some of the other unrelated games available on his website, such as Super Mario Nothing, Let's Play Ancient Greek Punishment, The Nothing Suite, Arto. This one I'll come back to later because I actually really liked it and it's about interpreting art, which fits the theme of this video. Now, obviously I can't speak for Pippin's intentions while creating the games, but anyone can interpret art, and from context clues we can gather that it's probably not actually meant to simulate making love. In fact, after playing it and a few others of his, I'd venture to guess it's even meant to be irritating. The games are charmingly unsatisfactory. There's not much to do, but they're pretty funny about it at least. If you've ever read The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, it gives me similar vibes in terms of the dry but absurd humour. There are a lot of pretty funny and interesting games available on his website, but this begs the question, why do people like It Is As If You Were Making Love so much in particular, and why is it surging in popularity now despite having been available for several years? Well, the way to figure that part out is probably to examine the gameplay, right? Look guys, I'm a gaming channel now! I know my little box says live bug reaction, it is not in fact live, this is a voiceover. For the sake of comparison, I'm going to start with the text adventure, which very predictably opens with text. There's not much to say about this one, it says type this thing and then you type the thing. And then get this, you type the next thing. You'll notice at some point there's a typo in get out of bed, and that part is intentional and appears every time I've played it. Sometimes it's repeated, sometimes it hasn't, but the only way it progresses is after you type it and have the game wince at you enough times to reach the actual get out of bed line without a typo. In short, this game isn't fun, it's probably not meant to be, you don't do much, and there's no reward for progressing. Next up is the main event, and I have the sound off because I think it's really grating, probably purposefully so. The gameplay is really simple, you just follow the instructions, and as you can see, it's different to the text adventure because it has a lot more going on and, you know, some level of actual gameplay. Every time I've seen videos about this game, I've seen people commenting about how surprised they are by their own interest in it, and that is definitely not about the actual game, probably more about the praise aspect. because when you look at how you actually interact with it mechanically, there's nothing erotic about it. If anything, this one actually really pisses me off because my trackpad isn't very good, so it keeps on yelling at me, basically telling me like, oh, go faster, go slower, so on and so forth. Anyway, we get to the end, and as you can see, this is objectively kind of silly, right? Last but not least is Arto, and again, this isn't really much of a game by ways of mechanics, it's just a short, interactive little thing, and as someone who enjoys art and tarot, I actually really like this one, both conceptually and as a fun way to learn about art. I've played it a lot of times despite there not being much to play mechanically, just because it's been really nice to see which different pieces come up and see what the descriptions say about them. Like, it's just generally been cool to find out about art that I didn't know about before, and also be mindful about how I interpret it or how people generally interpret it. And time for the smoothest segue ever, guys. Speaking of interpretations. Given this game came out in 2018, I don't think it was intentionally about AI, but there's no denying how well that interpretation fits, especially with the description's focus on loneliness as well as convenience. Humans are messy and complicated, fulfill your needs with a robot instead. That's a very simple concept, and it's been covered before, and nowadays it's something people genuinely do. Like, oh, you can't draw? Well, AI will do it. Oh, you can't write? AI will do it. Oh, you can't make friends? Well, AI can do that too. To me, this game feels somewhat cautionary. Like choosing making love for the title. Sure, you can simulate sex through various technological means, but you can't make love. The game is also, in my personal opinion, not much fun. As much as it isn't hurting anyone for someone to enjoy this, it feels more like you're supposed to come away from it thinking, that was absurd, I'm so glad this isn't really how it goes. The game even tells you in its descriptive text, remember, you are human and you are a lover. Like it exists to remind you that this will not satisfy you. If you want to feel fulfilled, you actually have to put in the work. Now I will admit, I can see the appeal to some extent. Don't look at me like that, okay? I was literally on about finding Caboodle from Gameverse attractive in my very first video, you really should have seen this coming. I mean, I'm not as into it as some of the people posting about it, but I understand why they like this one alone and don't really care for Pippin's other works. Unlike the text adventure, for example, this game is more interactive, more fast-paced, more visually developed, and more rewarding. There's a conclusion as well as varied reactions to your behaviour, and who doesn't like being told when they're doing a good job? Usually when I bring social media into the conversation, I'd include specific comments, but the last thing I'd want to do is upset or embarrass anyone over this. Assuming it's a matter of convenience, this is miles better than resorting to AI. It's just interesting that, as you can see, it's so popular now in particular, and that people seem to willfully overlook the obvious humour and wider context to the game and its origins. The game fitting so well with issues surrounding AI is genuine coincidence, but the huge surge in people taking interest in it now, 7 years after its release, is likely correlated to multiple factors. First of all would be the loneliness epidemic, and second of all would be the rise of AI applications like ChatGPT or Character AI. Various generative AI models that you are expected to speak to and interact with on a personal level. And there has notably been an increase in people using AI as a substitute for relationships, including sexual or romantic contexts. The trend of people using Character AI for this especially is prominent among the younger generation, and it's also widely posted about and almost normalized on social media. In short, I think COVID lockdown fucked us up really, really bad. We're all very attached to our devices in one way or another. It feels like our only connection to the wider world because for a while it genuinely was. It was our only way to contact friends, to see what was going on, to entertain ourselves, and so on. Then AI comes along a little later down the line, and a lot of people were ready to welcome it with open arms. I'm absolutely not trying to say it really is that damn phone, because look at me, I'm not that old, and I love my phone. I'm writing this script on my phone. I'm recording this audio on my phone. I'm just saying that it's very interesting to me to see how many aspects of our lives are becoming attached to them, and how people act like it's just the way things are now. With this game specifically, I have already said it's not bad. There won't be any horrible environmental or psychological impact, but it feels like people are talking about it in exactly the way the game is poking fun at. Kind of like a non-AI equivalent of sexting a chatbot when the actual non-AI equivalent should generally be talking to another human. But you know, as we've established, it's becoming widely accepted to not know how to deal with those. TLDR, what I'm trying to say is I think people would take less interest in this game than they do if not for these factors. No shaming going on here, just introspection, because it's always good to take extra influences into account, especially with regards to art and media. Like, I have no doubt there would still be people who enjoy it, but just maybe not on the same scale as we're seeing right now. Don't take this video too seriously. I know all in all it's probably not that deep, but I am a strong believer in the idea that all art is political, and I mean, you can see my point with this one, right? I saw this game all over TikTok and I wanted to find out its origin, and now here we are. To you this might be a nothing burger, but to me it's a something sandwich, okay? I actually really enjoyed making this one just because there was a lot more to it than I initially expected there to be. Previous videos of mine haven't really been research based, so that part was especially fun, and I love oddly specific little rabbit holes like this, so yeah. All in all, just a good time, and the only thing I can hope with my videos is to enjoy making them. I'm going to link the 3 games I played in this video in the description so you can have a look at them yourselves if you like. The tarot one especially is pretty cool, and I could see people actually enjoying it. And that's all for this one, pretty much. If you enjoyed, consider subscribing and following my Instagram. If you didn't, thanks for watching, I guess. I'm not sure why you stuck around this long. Anyway, bye, love you, I just lost the game.